So for those of you who don't know, for the last few years, there's been a lot of talk about the great game Autism. Now, if you've never played the game Autism, it usually is really hard, especially it's hard to get other friends of yours to want to play the game Autism. But when you do finally find somebody who is willing to also play Autism with you, you usually don't stop for several days, even months, and at that point you can get what's called the hyperfixation achievement. After the hyperfixation achievement, though, there is a random chance, it's pure RNG, it's fucking bullshit, there's a random chance that your hyperfixation achievement may be taken away and replaced with a different achievement called special interest. Now, I don't know why the devs decided this was the case, but apparently the devs behind Life, the devs behind Autism, are releasing a brand new announcement right now. Autism 2. And let's see if any of my previous problems with the last Autism actually get fixed.
Thank you very much. So I've been waiting for this meeting for 20 years, actually.
Oh?
And it's not that everything's 100% understood or known, but I think we've made a lot of strides. Wish it was done a long time ago. Today, we're delighted to be joined by America's top medical and public health professionals as we announce historic steps to confront the crisis of autism. Horrible, horrible crisis. I want to thank the man who brought this issue to the forefront of American politics along with me. And we actually met in my office, is it like 20 years ago, Bobby? It's probably 20 years ago in New York. I was a developer, as you probably heard, and I always had very strong feelings about autism and how it happened and where it came from. And he and I don't know, the word got out, and I wouldn't say that people were very understanding of where we were, but it's turning out that we understood a lot more than a lot of people who studied it, we think.
Why are you fucking self-aggrandizing? Well, it turns out we were randomly bullshitting in my office, and we knew more than the experts. Turns out, Jesus fucking Christ.
And I say we think because I don't think they were really letting the public know what they knew. Thanks as well to the director of the National Institute of Health, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, FDA Commissioner, Dr. Marty McCary. These are great people. Administrator of the Centers for Medicine and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz, and Acting Assistant Secretary of HHS, Dr. Dorothy Fink. So thank you all. Thank you, Dorothy, very much. The meteoric rise in autism is among the most alarming public health developments in history. There's never been anything like this. Just a few decades ago, 1 in 10,000 children had autism. So that's not a long time. And I've always heard, they say a few, but I think it's a lot less time than that. It used to be 1 in 20,000, then 1 in 10,000. And I would say that's probably 18 years ago. And now it's 1 in 31, but in some areas it's much worse than that, if you can believe it. 1 in 31.
God, he really...
And I gave numbers yesterday. For boys, it's 1 in 12.
He really
I was told
can't
that's in California where they have
can he?
For some reason, a more severe problem. But whether it's 1 in 12 or 1 in 31, can you imagine? That's down from 1 in 20,000, then 1 in 10,000. And now we're at the level of 1 in 12 in some cases for boys, 1 in 31 overall. So since 2000, autism rates have surged by much more than 400%. Instead of attacking those who ask questions, everyone should be grateful for those who are trying to get the answers to this complex situation. And the first day all of these great doctors behind me were there, I told them this is what we have to find out. Because when you go from 20,000 to 10,000, and then you go to 12, there's something artificial. They're taking something. And by the way, I think I can say that there are certain groups of people that don't...
So are we just going to ignore the fact that autism diagnoses were more rare when we didn't know enough about it? And autism diagnoses were more rare as social stigma behind autism was more pronounced? And just in general, we get more people diagnosed with shit like this when they go and seek out a diagnosis, and people are more likely to seek out a diagnosis if there is not as much of a social stigma around something. So if we have less of a social stigma around something and more people are seeking out a diagnosis, you inadvertently get more people diagnosed. Weird?
Take vaccines and don't take any pills that have no autism. Does that tell you something? That's currently, is that a correct statement, by the way?
There are some studies that suggest that, yeah, with the Amish, for example.
The Amish, yeah, virtually. I heard none. See, Bobby wants to be very careful with what he says, and he should, but I'm not so careful with what I say. But you have certain groups. The Amish, as an example, they have essentially no autism.
Is it maybe because in Amish communities, you have less people seeking out diagnoses? Wait, what about the Amish? Yeah, apparently there are studies to suggest that Amish communities have a 0 rate of autism. Emily the Zuby said, did he just say that? Yes. And then he self-aggrandized himself again, saying that, oh, well, you may watch what you say, but I'm not going to watch what you say. Soccer says, studies, you mean Wankerfield? I'm not familiar. Could you elaborate on that? Because I am curious. Wakefield is the nickname I gave to Andrew. Oh, okay. Like Andrew Wakefield.
First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of well, let's see how we say that.
Acetaminophen! Acetaminophen, you fucking moron! Holy shit!
Acetaminophen.
He can't fucking read!
Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol during pregnancy, can be associated with a very increased
he can't fucking read!
Risk of autism. So taking Tylenol
God.
Is
I don't know how to fucking speak. I'm the president of the United States. I don't know how to use words, Morty. Fuck. What the hell is this country?
Not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary. That's, for instance, in cases of extremely high fever, that you feel you can't tough it out, you can't do it. I guess there's that. It's a small number of cases, I think. But if you can't tough it out, if you can't do it, that's what you're going to have to do. You'll take a Tylenol, but it'll be very sparingly. It can be something that's very dangerous to the woman's health. In other words, a fever that's very, very dangerous, and ideally a doctor's decision, because I think you shouldn't take it. And you shouldn't take it during the entire pregnancy. They may tell you that toward the end of the pregnancy, you shouldn't take it during the entire. And you shouldn't give the child a Tylenol every time he's born and he goes and has a shot. You shouldn't give a Tylenol to that child. All pregnant women should talk to their doctors for more information about limiting the use of this medication while pregnant.
Yep,
so ideally you don't take it at all, but if you can't tough it out, if there's a problem, you're going to end up doing it. The other thing that I can tell you that I'll say that they will maybe say at a little bit later date, but I think when you go for the shot, you do it over a 5-time period. Take it over 5 times or 4 times, but you take it in smaller doses and you spread it out over a period of years. And they pump so much stuff into those beautiful little babies. It's a disgrace. I don't see it. I think it's very bad.
Are you talking about vaccines now?
It looks like they're pumping into a horse. You have a little fragile child, and you get a vat of 80 different vaccines, I guess, 80 different blends, and they pump it in. So ideally, a woman won't take Tylenol. And on the vaccines, it would be good instead of one visit where they pump the baby loaded up with stuff. You'll do it over a period of 4 times or 5 times.
They already do that. We already do that, you moron. We already do vaccines in stages. Fucking hell.
I've been so into this issue for so many years just because I couldn't understand how how a thing like this could happen. And it's artificially induced. It's not like something that...
How do you know that? How did you come to that conclusion? By what metric did you ascertain this information? How did you get there?
When you go from all of those, healthy babies to a point where I don't even know structurally if a country can afford it, and that's the least of the problems. To have families destroyed over this is...
Donald J. fucking moron. Vaccines are given in stages at specific ages to best work with children's developing immune systems in order to provide long-lasting protection. A staged approach, often referred to as an immunization schedule, is designed by the American Academy of Pediatrics and the CDC to ensure children receive protection at the times they need it most. Mr. fucking moron. We already do this thing that you're requesting happen. Is this going to be another thing where he suggests something that we've all been doing and then he's going to claim credit for it later? Because we've done that before.
Just so terrible. I also, and we've already done this, we want no mercury in the vaccine. We want no aluminum in the vaccine. The MMR, I think, should be taken separately. This is based on what I feel.
So it's based on what you feel, not based on reality. This is feels over facts. This is feelings over facts. We are at the feelings over facts presidency, supported by the Facts Over Feelings Daily Wire.
The mumps, measles, and the three should be taken separately. And it seems to be that when you mix them, there could be a problem.
Yep, Andrew Wakefield's bullshit is entered the chat.
So there's no downside in taking them separately. In fact, they think it's better, so let it be separate.
Who is they? Who's they? Mr. Dipshit?
The chicken pox is already separate, because when that got mixed in, I guess they made it for a while, it really was bad. So they make chicken pox. Individually, they're okay. When you mix them, something maybe happens. So there's no downside.
When you mix them, something maybe happens? We're changing the way we do medicine because something maybe happens? There's a reason you're not a scientist. There is a reason that you don't work a job that has a tiny margin for error. Your margin for error is called probable deniability.
Doing it. It's not like, if you do it, bad things. No, it's only good side. And it may not have that much of an impact, but it may have a big impact. So let those be...
What the fuck does that even mean?
Taken separately. And then hepatitis B is sexually transmitted. There's no reason to give a baby that's almost just born hepatitis B. So I would say wait till the baby is 12 years old.
Nobody's giving a baby hepatitis B. We're giving them a hepatitis B vaccine. Children still get cold sores. Do you know what causes cold sores? Fucking hepatitis B. You're such an idiot.
And formed and take hepatitis B. And I think if you do those things, it's going to be a whole different, it's going to be a revolution in a positive sense in the country. The FDA will be updating the label of an existing drug to reflect potential benefits in reducing some autism symptoms. This gives hope to...
How is changing fucking... We give the hepatitis B vaccine near birth. We give another dose at 1 month, and we give another dose at 6 months of age. Usually. Fucking hell. Also, man, I love AI overviews. I love them. Terribly inaccurate half the time. Said, why delay something you can get now? Yeah, Senna, thank you for the 101 bits. Page says, per the CDC, hepatitis B. Drellick, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs towards the treasure train. Page says, per the CDC, hepatitis B is a vaccine-preventable liver infection caused by HBV. HBV is transmitted when blood, semen, or another body fluid from another person infected with the virus enters the body of someone who is unaffected. Would you like to know a way that can get transferred? If memory serves, fucking mother's milk. Sorry, yeah, you're right. Cold sores are herpes, not Hep B. Wait a minute, did I just get completely bamboozled because Donald Trump said sexually transmitted disease? Did I get bamboozled by Trump? Poppy Muff says pain and disease are caused by evil spirits and should be treated by self-flagellation. I'm going to assume that you're joking there. I'm just going to assume you're joking there. You have to be. 'Cause why? Jesus. Don't worry, I got bamboozled too. Yep, I got bamboozled. That was me. No, not hepatitis. Herpes is canker sores. I got fucked up there. I am as dumb as the United States president. Yep, nope.
So yesterday, I saw a post where someone was like, man, people don't even know that most humans are just immune to that. It's like, no, most humans have it.
Yeah.
Nearly all humans have herpes.
Yep. You mean Trump's gishing? It's hard to debunk every wrong thing said in a Gish Gallop. I know. He's making Dwayne Gish blush. I understand.
To the many parents with autistic children, that it may be possible to improve their lives. That's one of the things that I'm very, very happy about. I mean, this was mostly going to be on
Hurricane.
Not.
Holy shit, thank you for gifting out 10 community subs. Thank you so much. That helps out the stream a ton. That helps out the train a ton. And you save money doing it, which is great. And, you know, I made more money to eat food with, which makes my life way better. Notice the wording, helping the parents.
And I would say that's probably 18 years ago.
Jesus Christ, Noah gifting 10 community subs? Again, I appreciate it. Holy fuck.
And now it's one more I think should be taken separately. This is based on...
Also, apparently, I hit the wrong button, so now I got to move where we were.
NIH
There we go.
research, Mr. President. To meet the president's challenge, I ordered HHS to launch an unprecedented all-agency effort to identify all causes of autism, including toxic and pharmaceutical exposures. At President Trump's urging, NIH, FDA, CDC, and CMS are turning over every stone to identify the etiology of the autism epidemic and how patients and parents can prevent and reverse this alarming trend. We have broken down the traditional silos that have long separated these agencies, and we have fast-tracked research and guidance. Historically, NIH has focused almost solely on politically
I don't know how he got to ideology there.
Research about the genetic drivers of autism.
Yeah, I'm curious. Hold on, let's go back there. Did he actually say the autism ideology?
We, patients and parents, can prevent and reverse this alarming trend. President Trump's urging, NIH, FDA, CDC, and CMS are turning over every stone to identify the etiology of the autism epidemic.
The ideology? Is that ideology? That can't be what he's saying. Yeah, etiology? The etiology, I guess? Yeah, he misspoke. He had to misspeak. Because etiology is the cause of a disease. No, he did.
Don't assume Donald Trump.
That's not Donald Trump. That's RFK Jr.
Oh, then he definitely did it.
No, he definitely misspoke.
He definitely did not.
This guy doesn't know how to speak half the time anyway, hon. The parasites are taking control.
And how patients and parents can prevent and reverse this alarming trend. We have broken down the traditional silos that have long separated these agencies, and we have fast-tracked research and guidance. Historically, NIH has focused almost solely on politically safe and entirely fruitless research about the genetic drivers of autism. And that would be like studying the genetic drivers of lung cancer without looking at cigarettes. And that's what...
Wait, hold on. But we know for a fact that cancer has a genetic component. We know for a fact that there are genetic drivers for cancers. Wait, no, he's just wrong here. Yes, cigarettes are a carcinogen, but cancers, by and large, do have a component which is linked to genetics. So he's actually admitting that smoking is a factor in lung cancer, which is surprising. Yeah, it's a factor. Jesus Christ.
NIH has been doing for 20 years. As a result, we don't have an answer to this critical question, despite the cataclysmic impact of the epidemic on our nation's children. We are now replacing the institutional culture of politicized science and corruption with evidence-based medicine. NIH
Because we didn't have evidence-based medicine before? What?
research teams are currently testing multiple hypotheses with no area off limits. We promise transparency as we uncover the potential causes and treatments, and we will notify the public regularly of our progress. Today, we are announcing two important findings from our autism work that are vital for parents to know as they make these decisions. First, HHS will act on acetaminophen. The FDA is responding to clinical and laboratory studies that suggest a potential association between acetaminophen use during pregnancy and adverse neurodevelopmental outcomes, including later diagnosis.
Also, it looks like the hype train finally completed, or rather the treasure train completed, at level 5. We have not seen level 5 in quite a while. Y'all are fucking awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Dreamy Sif, thank you for the follow.
Diagnosis for ADHD and autism. Scientists have proposed biological mechanisms linking prenatal acetaminophen exposure to altered brain development. We have also evaluated the contrary studies that show no association. Today, the FDA will issue a physician's notice about the risk of acetaminophen during pregnancy and begin the process to initiate a safety label change. HHS will launch a nationwide public service campaign to inform families and protect public health. FDA also recognized that acetaminophen is often the only tool for fevers and pain in pregnancy, as other alternatives have well-documented adverse effects. HHS wants, therefore, to encourage clinicians to exercise their best judgment in the use of acetaminophen for fevers and pain in pregnancy by prescribing the lowest effective dose for the shortest necessary duration and only when treatment is required. Furthermore, thanks to the politicization of science, the safety of acetaminophen.
Do you know why science is so politicized, Mr. RFK Jr., sir? Do you know why that is the case? Because generally speaking, the reason that science is so politicized is because of right-wing nut jobs, or better yet, creationists who try to argue that the Earth is 6,000 years old, because they also tend to be anti-vax. And they're anti-vax because they don't trust our scientific institutions. And they don't trust our institutions because they have a book they rely on instead.
Against the risk of neurodevelopmental disorders in young children has never been validated. Prudent medicine, therefore, suggests caution in acetaminophen use by young children, especially since strong evidence also has associated it with liver toxicity. Some studies have also found the use of acetaminophen in children can potentially prolong viral illnesses. FDA will drive new research to safeguard mothers, children, and families. In addition to a possible acetaminophen connection to autism for pregnant women, infants, and toddlers, our research has revealed that folate deficiency in a child's brain can lead to autism. We have also identified an exciting therapy.
A what?
Child's brain can lead to autism. It's revealed that folate deficiency.
Folate deficiency? What is a folate deficiency? Let me see here. It occurs when the body doesn't have enough folate, which is a water-soluble vitamin essential for cell growth and development. Okay?
In a child's brain can lead to autism. We have also identified an exciting therapy that may benefit large numbers of children who suffer from autism. Peer-reviewed literature has documented that up to 60% of folate-deficient children with ASD can have improved verbal communications if given leucovorin. I have instructed NIH, FDA, and CMS to help doctors treat children appropriately. Jay will help tell that story, which started with sound science, the kind that restores faith in government. The announcement of this
leucovorin. So not folinic acid. Not let's give people folinic acid. Let's give people leucovorin. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, at least he didn't go with a brand name, because Welcavorin's a brand name for leucovorin. Yeah, leucovorin is just a vitamin supplement, effectively. That's what it is. It's leucovorin calcium. It is a ready-to-use form of folate that does not require activation by the enzyme dihydrofolate. Sorry, dihydrofolate. So normally the body needs an enzyme to activate that. It does not need an enzyme from leucovorin. But it's effectively a supplement. Aaron says, I doubt that'll cure autism. I don't think it will either.
This announcement also represents a historic collaboration between NIH, FDA, CDC, and CMS. We expect this to be the first of many announcements over the coming years that deliver actionable information to parents on underlying cause of autism and the potential paths for prevention and reversal. Finally, autism is a complex disorder with multifactorial etiology. We are continuing to investigate a multiplicity of potential causes with no areas of taboo. One area that we are closely examining, as the president mentioned, is vaccines. Some 40 to 70% of mothers who have children with autism believe that their child was injured by a vaccine.
That doesn't mean that they were. We're just at vaccines cause autism all over again.
President Trump believes that we should be listening to these mothers instead of gaslighting and marginalizing them like prior administrations. Some of our friends like to say that we should believe all women. Some of these same people have been silencing and demonizing these mothers for 3 decades.
Believe all women is a phrase that came from women who were not believed when they would talk about their history with men when they would get raped. Believe all women does not have anything to... That's just a fucking rape joke, you idiot! You're just making a rape joke in order to say vaccines cause autism. That is what you did. That is what you fucking did. The Believe Women mantra is about believing victims of sexual abuse. To use the Believe Women mantra as a cudgel and to do a snide little laugh about it is to utilize the Believe All Women mantra against other people. And there's a weird way you're doing that. If you use that mantra in that way, chuckling at the end there, it's just a joke at the expense of the people who are saying it. And the people who are saying it are usually people trying to communicate about their status as victims of rape. So how am I to take that other than RFK made a rape joke to say vaccines might cause autism?
Decades. Because research on the potential link between autism and vaccines has been actively suppressed in the past. It will take time.
It wasn't suppressed. It was that they didn't meet their burden of proof. That's not suppression. That was letting you come into the room to speak, seeing you said stupid shit, and then calling you out for saying stupid shit.
For an honest look at this topic by scientists. But I want to reassure the people in the autism
We've never looked at it honestly before, I guess.
We will be uncompromising and relentless in our search for answers. We will perform the studies that should have been performed 25 years ago. We did perform those studies. We did. We looked at the research. That's how we figured out that Andrew Wakefield was a quack. We performed those studies. We did that research. What are you on about? The answer is we will tell you what we find. We are researching this issue to all 3 agencies. Jay will discuss one of our research initiatives at NIH. This model of unleashing unbiased, depoliticized, gold standard scientific research and academic freedom to deliver actionable information to prevent and reverse disease will be a model for the framework to deliver similar results for many other chronic conditions that plague Americans. Jay?
Thank you, Secretary Kennedy, and thank you, President Trump.
Thank you very much.
I'm proud to announce today that the NIH has launched the Autism Data Science Initiative to turbocharge autism research, devoting an additional $50 million to the cause of studying autism. Nearly 250 research teams from across the country applied, sent in their applications, and were peer-reviewed by the
Old Gus. Thank you for redeeming your points for an ara.
NIH review panels. The NIH peer reviewers chose the 13 best projects focused on root causes and therapies, with replication and validation studies to guarantee gold standard science. The studies feature a new kind of science called exposomics, where scientists consider environmental and medical factors, nutrition, events during pregnancy, in combination with biology and genetics to answer vital questions about autism.
You mean that? But that we've been doing that. That's not new. That's putting a name on something that we've been doing for years and claiming that you're doing something new. You're not doing anything new. That's just what we've been doing for years.
Science like this, conducted in partnership with families and physicians, is the best way to arrest and reverse the autism epidemic. Autism spectrum disorder encompasses a very wide range of symptoms, ranging from mild difficulties with social interactions to profoundly autistic children who experience severe disabilities in speech and behavior. Given this wide range of symptoms across the spectrum, it seems certain that there will be a wide range of biological contributors to explaining the cause. The great thing about the new NIH initiative on autism is that scientists will use rigorous advanced methods in causal inference, machine learning, organoids, and other fresh approaches to the problem. The sharp rise in the prevalence of autism deserves an urgent response by the scientific community. As Bobby said, the NIH has invested a lot of money to study autism over the years, but the research has not produced the answers that families and parents of autistic children deserve, and autistic children themselves deserve. For too long, it's been taboo to ask some questions for fear the scientific work might reveal a politically incorrect answer.
What?
Because of this restricted focus in scientific investigations, the answers for families have been similarly restricted, often pointing families to behavioral therapies that don't work for every kid, or suggest non-modifiable genetic factors as the cause. But genetics alone can't explain such a sharp rise in autism prevalence over just a few decades, as the president said. In coming months and years, as NIH scientists learn more that can help autistic children and their families, we won't delay. Like scientists often like to do. I can say as a scientist myself, it's really tempting to delay, but but in face of a problem like this, you have to move fast. But we will not delay.
No, you don't need to move fast. You need to be careful. You need to do things correctly.
Before telling American people about what we find, and we will win the public trust with transparency and rigor. Already, our broadened focus on autism research has pointed to 2 items that will help families prevent and treat some cases of autism. I'll leave the good news on these 2 items to my close friends and colleagues, Dr. McCary and Dr. Oz. We've been working together closely on this problem for the past 6 months, and our cooperation represents an unprecedented collaboration with Secretary Kennedy's Department of Health and Human Services and with President Trump. I'm delighted to introduce Dr. Marty McCary, Commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration, who will tell you about these announcements of practical help for families with autism.
Great, thank you, Dr. Bhattacharya. Mr. President, this is the start of a historic shift in medical culture. This administration is working together to ask big questions.
Why do we do everything with the grandiose words? Why are we referring to everything with, this is a big shift, this is a huge change, this has never been done before, this is unprecedented, no the fuck it's not. No, this is just how we've been operating for years. What the fuck are you on about?
About why our nation's children are getting sick so fast. Too often, medicine is doing small little studies giving us answers we already knew. But we've got to make a difference. You've given us a charge to identify root causes, and we are not going to stop so that we can end the suffering we are watching. And if you've seen a kid with autism, with severe autism, it's hard to watch. Kids get frustrated, they get angry, they can be crying because they want to speak and they can't speak. It's hard to watch, and it may be entirely preventable. For an epidemiologist, that child is an expanding statistic, but for a child, it can be brutal to have autism. Today, the FDA is taking action to update the label on acetaminophen and sending a letter to all U.S. doctors letting them know about the risks in pregnancy. We now have data we cannot ignore. There's a very large study, the Boston Birth Cohort, with researchers that have, from Johns Hopkins, my former institution, and Boston University, found quote-unquote consistent associations between acetaminophen in pregnancy and autism. And the Nurses' Health Study with researchers from Yale, Columbia.
Goldilocks and Teeth Paste, thank you for the follow. I have a question. Would you not find constant links between those things when it's very normal to give pregnant women Tylenol? Would you not find those links more often in a world where you are more often to be giving Tylenol to women who are pregnant? Would you not expect to find those links? Would they not be exactly what you would hope would be there? Like, what?
Columbia and Harvard, looking at 9,000 kids, found that acetaminophen use in pregnancy was associated with neurodevelopmental disorders. And 4 weeks ago, a Mount Sinai Harvard study reviewed all the existing literature and found the overwhelming body of evidence points to an association. Sure, you'll be able to find a study to the contrary. That's how science works. But to quote the dean of the Harvard School of Public Health, there is a causal relationship between prenatal acetaminophen use and neurodevelopmental disorders of ADHD and autism spectrum disorder. We cannot wait any longer. And honestly, there's been this perfunctory, reactionary, mindless practice in medicine. I learned it in medical school and residency. Just treat all fevers, low-grade fevers, treat them with acetaminophen. Why? What are we doing? A study out of Hopkins actually showed that treating a fever can prolong the duration of illness in a young kid.
Yes, because, okay, so the fever causes a lot of pain to the person who has the fever. The fever is attempting to burn away a disease effectively. It is creating an environment that is more lethal to the disease. You take Tylenol because it makes it easier to bear with the fever. It lowers the body temperature, and yes, the side effect of that is you will be sicker longer. The point of it is to make you more comfortable. That's not new information. This is actually pretty fucking old info.
Maybe that's because a fever is a body's natural way of ridding an infection. When my wife was pregnant and delivered our son a few months ago, they pushed her to take acetaminophen for a low-grade fever. She said no, and then they looked to me and I said, absolutely no. I'm also here to announce good news. Today, the FDA is filing a Federal Register notice to change the label on an exciting treatment called prescription leucovorin so that it can be available to children with autism. You know, autism may also be due to an autoimmune reaction to a folate receptor on the brain, not allowing that important vitamin to get into the brain cells. It's a fairly established, mature pathway. Again, we have a duty to let doctors and the public know we are going to change the label to make it available. Hundreds of thousands of kids, in my opinion, will benefit. One study found that with kids with autism and chronic folate deficiency, 2/3 of kids with autism symptoms had improvement, and some marked improvement. Mr. President, you told us to do what's medically right, to go bold, and not worry about the corporations and the lobbyists. So that's what we're here doing today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Marty. I think
So if it ends up being that a folate deficiency is the silver bullet, I don't know. It feels weird to have a regime that is arguing that, oh, well, it's multifaceted, but also here's this silver bullet. More boiled child brains.
you all appreciate the passion in the president's voice. We've been hearing that since the inauguration. In fact, even before the inauguration, the president was upset
why are we sucking
about
off
what
the
he spoke to
president now?
today. And so together with Secretary
Why are we
Kennedy, who's
sucking
made
off
his
Trump?
life's work to address some of these challenges with autism, they challenged us. In fact, they were harsher than that. They wanted no silos to break down what the NIH would do, what the FDA would do, what CMS would do. They insisted that the physician leaders bust through the clutter because their agencies had the power. If we didn't do what every other prior administration had done, which is to let people function within their siloed environments. Because of that, in historic fashion and a very accelerated manner, we have a response today to the autism crisis. It is the first of several chapters, but this is breaking news. You've heard some of it. The response to the autism crisis is going to continue to come to you under Secretary Kennedy's leadership, and the president wouldn't have it any other way. As you've heard, the FDA the FDA, based on NIH research, is approving prescription leucovorin for treatment of autistic children. Now, if you're following the script, there should be two questions that you have, two questions that should come to your mind. The first is, how will patients and parents get access to the treatment? I'll tell you how. Over half of American children are covered by Medicaid and CHIP, government health insurance, over half. And therefore, because they're covered in Medicaid and CHIP, upon this label change by Marty, state Medicaid programs in partnership with CMS will cover prescription leucovorin around the country. It's yours, but you have to go to a doctor to get a prescription because they know your child, they know you, and they know the medication. States will also have tools to monitor its use and ensure appropriate utilization. That's important for a bunch of reasons because we want the right kids getting the right prescription medications. We believe private insurance companies will rapidly follow our lead if they have not already done so. And again, to make sure that this is safe and effective treatment, you need a physician to prescribe the medication because it's on prescription. Second big question. How are we going to collect clinical data to answer the big questions that the president is asking and the secretary insists that we offer? CMS is also issuing guidance to convene states and existing research networks to support NIH and FDA in their research efforts of prescription leucovorin, while also
Lodash says, so is that a present to whoever is selling it, or... See, the problem is, I'm of two minds here. Mind number one says, well, if it ends up helping, then fuck it, why not? Mind number two goes, okay, so who's selling shit? Who's selling what? Who's making money off this one?
Maintain the privacy of all patients, all health information of our beneficiaries. Collecting real-world data, which is what many of you have been asking us to do in the community, is fast, it is life-saving, and we'll get answers based on what happens over the next few months with this approach. The aggressive approach, and it is aggressive, demanded by the president and by the secretary, have already identified risk factors and opened the door for the first FDA-recognized treatment pathway for autism. It is the first of its kind, and it wouldn't have happened without the leadership of the president and the secretary. The five-fold increased prevalence of autism over the past 25 years demands a rapid response. The average clinician, researcher, we spoke to many, thought it would take 5 years to get this data. Parents are unwilling to wait 5 years. The president is unwilling to wait 5 years for these results. So the president and the secretary are acting today with this tri-agency move. The administration's bold actions investing in groundbreaking research follow the science. They restore trust, which has been lacking, and they will change the trajectory for millions of American families. Mr. President, God bless you for being brave. So let me introduce Dr. Fink, who's acting administrator, and after Dr. Fink, we've got some wonderful women, Jackie and Amanda.
Do we still have to listen to people? I think we've got basically what they're doing. Tylenol bad, take this supplement. Is that what we got here? Tylenol bad, take this supplement? Like, do I have about the right of it? Because I feel like I've got about the right of it there. Countdown to it turning out that excessive folate in pregnancy actually causes autism. It's crank science and they're 20 years behind such a clown show? Yeah. Man, is it time? Is it time for a new H Bomber Guy video on this shit? Is it time for that? Because, like, I swear it's time for that. Tylenol and vaccines bad. Take this folate pill. Again, if they turn out to be right, then cool. If they turn out to be right, then neato. Clueless Expert says, hear me out. What if autism during pregnancy causes autism? Ma'am, you're under arrest. Pregnant while autism. How dare you?
I know it's going to be tough, but if you can make some comments about this historic day, God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity to speak with all of you today. As a pediatrician and mom, I'm here today to talk about what this announcement means for the millions of moms and dads who are faced with the choice of whether to take acetaminophen during pregnancy. It's hard to hear information that challenges the status quo. We are sharing this information not to confuse, but to empower parents to make the best choices when taking medications during pregnancy. God is not the author of
confusion, I guess.
We are all concerned about the rising rates of neurodevelopmental disorders, including autism. President Trump and Secretary Kennedy are dedicated to radical transparency so that patients have the best, most up-to-date information. We are also sharing this information.
What are all of those wet sounds coming from her microphone? Why can I hear every micro movement of her goddamn tongue?
With our nation's doctors. And we encourage you, as always, to consult with your doctor to make the best decision for you. All too often, it's easy to think that medicines we buy without a prescription pose little to no risk for the mom or the baby. As you heard today, pregnant women who need high fever or pain reduction during pregnancy should take the lowest effective dose of acetaminophen for the shortest possible duration. Most women will not meet these indications during their pregnancies. I am encouraged by these developments today because it is another example of our commitment to the American people to leave no stone unturned in improving the health of our nation's children. Next, I'm going to turn it over to some incredible mothers who are going to share more about their stories, and we're so grateful to have you here today.
Wait, why do we have testimonials? What are we doing?
Thank you.
Why the fuck do I care about testimonials? What? Okay, so here's the reason I don't give a shit about testimonials. Testimonials are one of the most abused methods of convincing people. You do testimonials when you don't have data. You do testimonials when you need to appeal to emotion. Here we go! Bring out the crying moms! No, we don't need to bring out the crying moms. We're fucking done. We're done. We are past the point of getting useful information. Yeah, so Tylenol is acetaminophen. Not the same thing as aspirin. It said Johnny was perfectly fine until I took one whole Tylenol. Yep, one whole Tylenol. That's what did it. That fucked you for life. Safest bet is on them not bringing out a single autistic person. The thing is, anyone there could be autistic. Any one of them could be. I don't know if they are, nor do I care. Trump doesn't want to be near an autistic person, probably why he threw Elon out. Elon, I'm sorry. You're a good guy, and we had fun doing the Eiffel Tower thing over on the island. But, come on, man. I can't be seen around an autistic. I can't. It's bad for my image. People are saying it. People are saying, whoa, autism. Can't do it. Can't do it at all. No, not any longer. Not after what the people are saying. And many people are saying it. Many people are saying it. I'll never throw a poem or ride a baseball. Damn. That's why they call me Hamsar. Jesus. Why are we here? Just to suffer? So this administration is... jury's out on what's going to happen here, but here's what I'm expecting to happen. I'm expecting in the next couple of days, we're going to get two sets of people. We're going to get the autism understanders out, who are going to give their own anecdotes and are going to talk about folate in a super positive light. Then we're going to get the people who are going to find studies where we've already done all this work and find that our administration is full of bullshit. I'm expecting those two things to happen. The autism understanders coming out in favor of it, and then the people who have looked at these studies, who make it a point to look at these studies, likely people who are autistic, are going to then come and say, hey, we've already done research on folates. We've already done research on etiology. We've already done research on all of this shit. That's my guess. Anybody want to take bets in the comment section below? Because that's where I'm thinking we're going. Let me know what your bets are down there. I am curious. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Limor Pinku, Love Bunny Games, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Aurora, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Curatorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.